Okay, so I'm going to show how to put together one of these type of buttons here. It's got like a more of a pin and then a hole on the other side. First thing you want to do is make sure you have a good hole that's pretty much exactly the size you want. If it's too small, you're going to be fighting to get it in there. And then if it's too big, then it's going to wiggle around a little bit. So use your little tool here just to stretch a little bit. Don't overdo it. You don't want to risk damaging it. And then put your pin through the bottom. It's much easier to align everything if you put the pin on the bottom. Doesn't really matter the orientation of the leather, just as far as when you're putting it together, put it on the bottom. To the other side, just stick it on there. Might clip on there a little bit. Sometimes it just sits on there and it'll pull back off. This one's pretty easy. Make sure you have your base. I'm not sure if this is like the right one. Usually you want the concave to be the same shape, but this is what I got on me right now and it's working fine. And then the top, for sure, you want to make sure that one fits the concave shape of your button. Stick it right there on top. You also may want to put something to cover on this, but haven't had any issues with scratching with this particular one, so just gonna use it like this. And when you hit it, you want to make sure you keep it straight because it can shift at an angle, kind of like a nail does. And then don't go at it as one big swing. You kind of ease it down. Check it, make sure you're still straight. And then just kind of, you got to find the balance between firm enough to move it and gentle enough not to knock it off to the side. You're going to do that a few times, check it. See, this time it's kind of shifting. It's harder with these longer, the pin's a little bit longer than this one. If you're brave, you can use some pliers or something to shift it back. Let's see if I can turn it and get it back on course. Not ideal. You really don't want to have to do that. But if you're kind of farther down the road and you have a choice, better than nothing. Check it. And sometimes they're just going to shift and there's not a ton you can do about it. Once you got it pretty snug, I'm going to adjust this one again. Should be a little easier now that it's flat. Just real gently kind of press on it. They're strong one direction, but to the side they're not super strong. Then you may have to tap it down again. There's definitely an art to this. Another thing is that these aren't super ideal for very small projects. As you can see, they're kind of oversized in my opinion, and on the edge they overlap. You don't really want that, so that does make it a little harder to get these straight. So, and sometimes you have to just take them out and try another one. They bend sometimes. It's like messing up a nail. It's the same thing. So that's pretty much the gist of that. So this is a different kind. I feel a little bit easier to use in my opinion, but you're gonna make a bigger hole, which kind of sucks. So this one is the pass-through kind. You can see that. Just kind of a protective ring, and then the other side. So for that kind, you need to find a hole punch. It's gonna match the same size as this. You don't have a lot of clearance here, so you need to make sure you don't go past the size. You can probably snug it in if it's a little smaller, but you don't want it to be any bigger. So use something protective like this acrylic plate or something to hammer against. Kind of helps protect your hole punchers because they'll wear out. You have to resharpen them. That kind of sucks. So just mark where you want it. Make sure you got your hole. Boom. Go ahead and get this side in there. It's a little snug, so I'm probably gonna See if I have a bigger one. Might be the biggest I have. Yep, that's the biggest I got. So you can also use this again, handy tool. Pretty much use it for everything. Stretch it just a little bit without wearing too much on your leather, making it look stretched out. See if we can get it in there. There we go. Snug. So what happens in this one is the ring here is going to expand outward. Have your bottom piece. The bottom is usually the bigger bigger round metal. Stick that on there. Put your little plastic washer on there. Kind of helps it keep from cutting into the leather too much. And then you kind of just decide which side you want that on. If you do, I recommend it just because it helps keep it tight, and then it doesn't cut into the leather too much. Make sure your ring's on there. Make sure you have the right tool for it. So you see this one, it kind of lines it, and then we'll spread it out to the side, kind of like a stapler. Check it, see where you're at. You usually have to do it more than once. You kind of feel it stop moving. Now it looks pretty. It's even, it's flat, and sturdy. Whenever you're trying to make any type of ties or strings where you need to pull something tight, always use a ring so that it doesn't stretch the leather, doesn't wear it down.